It was a typical Thursday afternoon in the small town where I lived and worked as an administrative assistant. My life was pretty routine: wake up, work, watch some TV, and then hit the sack. At 34, I was comfortable with my quiet existence, even if it felt a bit lonely at times. I was at the local grocery store, picking up some essentials and maybe a little comfort food. That's when I bumped into Michael for the first time. Michael was the kind of guy you'd notice in a small town like ours, tall, with the kind of physique that screamed he didn't skip gym sessions. I, on the other hand, had always struggled with my weight, and my self-esteem wasn't exactly through the roof. "Oops, sorry about that," Michael said, as we collided near the frozen foods aisle. His groceries almost hit the floor, but he caught them just in time. "No worries, my fault. I was in my own world there," I replied, feeling my cheeks heat up. Why did I have to be so clumsy? "Hey, aren't you Anna from the post office?" he asked, with a curious look. "Yeah, that's me. And you are?" I knew who he was, of course. This was a small town, everyone knew everyone. But I played dumb, partly because I was surprised he knew my name. "Michael, I've seen you around. You have a great smile, you know that?" He flashed me a grin that probably melted hearts on a regular basis. I laughed, a bit too loudly. "Thanks, I guess. You're not too bad yourself," I said, instantly regretting how cheesy that sounded. "Listen, Anna, I was wondering if you'd like to grab a coffee sometime? There's this nice little place I know. It's not fancy, but the coffee's good," he suggested, his eyes locking with mine. I was taken aback. Why would someone like Michael be interested in someone like me? Sure, I'd like that," I managed to say, trying to sound casual. "Great. How about tomorrow after work?" he proposed. Walking home, I couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and disbelief. Michael seemed genuinely interested, but part of me wondered if it was some kind of joke. After all, why would a fit, good-looking guy like him go for someone like me? The next day, I found myself at the coffee shop, waiting nervously for Michael. I kept fidgeting with my hands, wondering if he'd actually show up. But show up he did, right on time, with that same charming smile. We ordered our coffees, and the conversation started to flow. We talked about work, about living in a small town, and about our hobbies. Michael was easy to talk to, and I forgot all about my insecurities. By the end of the evening, I felt a connection to Michael that I hadn't expected. Maybe, just maybe, this was the start of something new. A few weeks had flown by since our first coffee date, and things with Michael were moving fast, faster than I had ever anticipated. You won't believe it, but we were preparing for the wedding. We were at Giovanni's, the fanciest place in town. Michael had insisted on dinner, saying he had something important to discuss. "So, Anna," Michael began, his voice smooth as he sipped his wine. "There's something we need to sort out." I felt a lump form in my throat. "What do we need to sort out?" I asked, fearing the answer. "It's about the wedding," he said, pausing for effect. "There are some additional expenses that have come up, stuff I hadn't anticipated. And, well, I'm a bit short on cash right now." I blinked, trying to process what he was saying. This wasn't exactly the romantic scene I had envisioned. Additional expenses? How much are we talking about here? He hesitated, then blurted out, 20,000. I know it's a lot, but it's just to cover the extra stuff, you know, to make our day perfect. I nearly choked on my wine. 20,000? Michael, that's a huge amount of money. Where is all this coming from? I thought we had a budget. He reached across the table, taking my hand. I know it's a lot. But trust me, it'll be worth it. We'll have the wedding of our dreams. I just need a bit of help getting there. I pulled my hand away. Help? Michael, you're asking me to give you $20,000. That's not just a bit of help. That's a massive loan. He leaned back, his expression one of frustration. Look, Anna, I wouldn't ask if it wasn't important. I want this wedding to be something we'll both remember forever. Isn't that worth investing in? The rest of the dinner passed in a blur. I was too caught up in my thoughts to pay much attention to the food or the forced conversation that followed. Michael's request had thrown me, but I was in love and believed him unconditionally, so I agreed. After the dinner at Giovanni's, things got weird. Michael started acting dodgy, always on his phone and making excuses when I asked about the wedding plans. I tried to shake off the feeling that something was off, telling myself it was just pre-wedding jitters. Then, 2 days after I handed over the money, I came home to an empty rented apartment. Not just empty of Michael, but of all his stuff too. It was like he'd vanished into thin air, taking his belongings with him. The only thing he left behind was a note on the kitchen table. I picked it up, my hands shaking as I read the words that would change everything. Anna. Thank you for the money, I will spend it on a wonderful trip with my girlfriend. I'm sorry, but you're too fat and ugly for me. I hope you find a guy who matches you. M. I must have read that note a dozen times, hoping the words would change, but they never did. The pain was indescribable. Betrayal, heartbreak, humiliation, it all hit me at once. And the worst part? The money was gone. All $20,000 of it. I called Lucy, my best friend, the only person I could think of who might understand. Lucy, Michael's gone. He's left me. Took all his stuff, and the money. Left a note saying he can't marry someone too fat and ugly. I choked out, feeling the sting of tears in my eyes. There was a pause on the other end of the line. That son of a... Are you okay? Do you want me to come over? I sniffled, wiping my nose with the back of my hand. Yeah. I mean, no. I'm not okay. But yes, please come over. It didn't take long for Lucy to arrive, and when she did, I was still a mess. She hugged me, letting me cry on her shoulder. This is unbelievable. How could he do this to you? After everything? Lucy was furious on my behalf. I don't know. I just feel so stupid. I gave him the money, Lucy. All of it. What am I going to do? The reality of my financial situation was starting to sink in. We'll figure something out. First, we need to get you back on your feet. Then we'll deal with the money and the rent and all that crap, Lucy said, her voice firm and reassuring. But how? I'm broke, Lucy. Completely broke. And my heart, it's just broken. The weight of everything was crushing me. We start by getting you out of this apartment. You can stay with me for a bit. And then we go to the bank, see about getting a loan or something. And, Anna, we're going to get you through this. You're stronger than you think. Lucy's words were a small comfort, but a comfort nonetheless. In the days that followed, I did what she suggested. Moved out of the apartment, applied for a loan, and tried to piece my life back together. But the betrayal and the financial mess Michael left behind were hard to shake off. It felt like I was living in a nightmare, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't wake up. Moving in with Lucy was supposed to be temporary. Just until I got back on my feet, I kept telling myself. But days turned into weeks, and the weight of what happened with Michael wasn't lifting, it was getting heavier. I can't believe that jerk did this to you, Lucy said one evening, as we sat on her couch, a pile of unpaid bills on the coffee table. And left you with all these debts. I took a sip, the warmth of the tea doing little to comfort me. I've been thinking about getting a second job. Maybe at the diner or the gas station. I need to start paying off these debts somehow. That's a start, Anna. But what about talking to a lawyer? Maybe there's a way to get some of the money back from Michael. I shook my head, a bitter laugh escaping me. With what money, Lucy? I can't even afford a lawyer. And even if I could, Michael's gone. Vanished. No one knows where he is. The conversation hit a dead end, as it often did these days. The reality was, I was stuck. Stuck in a situation I never imagined I'd be in, struggling to find a way out. The next few weeks were a blur of job applications, rejection letters, and growing despair. I managed to get a part-time job at the local diner, but it was barely enough to cover the interest on the loans, let alone the principal amount. And yet I fought, I tried with all my little strength. Lucy was there, and that was the main thing. Once she hinted that I could ask my parents for help, but I categorically refused. I'm 34 years old, and I can handle all this on my own. A few months passed, I worked 2 jobs, paid off the loan and even rented a small apartment, finally moving out from Lucy. The upcoming Valentine's Day was just another reminder of how far my life had veered off course. Planning to spend the evening with nothing but my cat and a large pizza for company, I wasn't expecting anything out of the ordinary. That's when the unexpected happened. The doorbell rang, and I figured it was the pizza delivery. Swiping a hand over my face to wipe away the remnants of tears and straightening my pajama top, I shuffled to the door, ready to face the only date I had that night, a large pepperoni with extra cheese. But it wasn't the pizza guy. Instead, there stood a delivery man holding the largest bouquet of roses I'd ever seen, looking like he was trying to find the recipient of a mistaken order. "Anna Smith?" he asked, a bit uncertain. "Yeah, that's me. But I think you've got the wrong place." "I didn't order any flowers," I said, confusion lacing my voice. "No mistake, ma'am. These are for you," he said, handing me a small card that came with the bouquet. I took the card, my hands shaking a bit as I read the message. "You're beautiful. I've liked you for a long time, but I want to remain anonymous for now." My heart skipped a beat. "But who sent these?" I asked, looking up at the delivery man, who merely shrugged. "Sorry, ma'am. I just deliver 'em. Don't know anything about the sender," he said before turning to leave. Closing the door, I stood there, holding the bouquet and the note, feeling a mix of emotions. Confusion, surprise, but most of all, a tiny spark of hope. Someone out there thought I was beautiful. After everything that had happened, it felt like a lifeline. I called Lucy, unable to keep this to myself. "Lucy, you won't believe what just happened. I got flowers. From a secret admirer," I blurted out as soon as she answered. "Wait, what? Flowers? On Valentine's Day? Girl, spill." Lucy's voice was a mix of excitement and curiosity. I told her about the delivery, the note, and how it made me feel. There was a pause on the other end of the line. "Anna, it's wonderful. But also a bit creepy, don't you think? Secret admirer and all?" Lucy finally said, her tone a blend of happiness for me and concern. "I know, it sounds crazy. But right now, I'll take a bit of wonderful in my life, even if it comes with a side of creepy," I admitted, feeling a smile creep onto my face for the first time in months. "Fair enough. Just be careful, okay? And hey, enjoy the flowers. You deserve to feel beautiful, because you are," Lucy added, her words warming my heart. The rest of the night, I found myself glancing at the bouquet, letting myself dream a little. It was a small gesture, but it marked the beginning of something new for me. I wasn't ready to jump back into the dating scene, but this mysterious gesture made me feel seen, valued, and most importantly, it sparked a change within me. The days following the flower delivery were filled with a new sense of anticipation. Each morning, I found myself looking out the window, half expecting another surprise delivery. And then, it happened again. I was at work, drowning in a sea of paperwork, when a delivery guy walked in with a parcel. My heart skipped a beat when he asked for me. The office went silent, everyone's eyes were on me as I signed for the package. "Looks like someone's got a secret admirer," teased Mark, one of my coworkers, as he leaned over my desk with a smirk. I rolled my eyes, trying to ignore the butterflies in my stomach. "Yeah, well, let's not make a big deal out of it," I mumbled, feeling my cheeks heat up. I waited until lunchtime to open the parcel, curiosity getting the better of me. Inside, there was a beautiful brooch and a note that read, "To you, my true love. You are beautiful. That evening, I called Lucy to tell her about the latest development. Another gift? And this time a brooch? Wow, this admirer of yours is really laying it on thick, Lucy said, her voice filled with amusement. I know, right? It's kind of overwhelming. But also, kind of nice? I admitted, fiddling with the brooch. Just kind of nice? Girl, you're glowing. I can practically hear the smile in your voice, she teased. A few days later, buoyed by the mystery and kindness of my secret admirer, I found myself walking a little taller, smiling a bit more. It was as if the small acts of kindness were slowly chipping away at the walls I'd built around myself. Then, on a whim, I decided to wear the brooch to my favorite coffee shop after work. As I sat there, sipping on my latte and reading a book, I couldn't help but feel a pair of eyes on me. Looking up, I caught the gaze of a man sitting across the room. He was handsome, with a warm smile that made my heart do a little flip. He raised his cup towards me in a silent toast before standing up and walking over. Hi, I couldn't help but notice that brooch. It's quite beautiful, he said, nodding towards the pin on my jacket. I felt my cheeks warm up. Oh, thank you. It was a gift, I said, suddenly shy. A gift? Sounds like someone thinks quite highly of you, he replied, his smile widening. Yeah, it seems so, I said, tucking a strand of hair behind my ear. I'm Anna, by the way. Nice to meet you, Anna. I'm Alex. Do you mind if I join you? He asked, gesturing to the chair opposite me. Not at all, I said, my heart racing. Was this a coincidence, or could Alex be? We talked for what felt like hours, about everything and nothing. For the first time in a long time, I felt a genuine connection with someone. But the question of whether he was my secret admirer lingered in the back of my mind. As the evening came to a close, Alex stood up to leave. I had a great time talking to you, Anna. I hope we can do it again soon. I'd like that, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. He smiled, gave me a small wave, and then he was gone. I sat there for a moment, lost in thought. Whether Alex was my admirer or not, one thing was clear, I was starting to feel alive again. The next few weeks flew by in a blur of excitement and curiosity. Alex and I started seeing each other more often, going for walks, catching movies, and spending hours talking about everything under the sun. Yet, the identity of my secret admirer remained a mystery, one that tickled the back of my mind but didn't consume my thoughts as it once had. One evening, over coffee at my now favorite spot, I decided to bring it up with Alex. Alex, can I ask you something kind of odd? I started, stirring my coffee nervously. He looked up, his eyes curious. Sure, anything. What's up? It's just, well, before we started hanging out, I received these gifts from a secret admirer. And part of me wondered if it was you, I said, finally voicing the suspicion that had been dancing around in my head. Alex raised his eyebrows, a smile playing on his lips. Me? A secret admirer? That's kind of flattering, but no, Anna, it wasn't me. I'm more of a direct approach kind of guy, he confessed, reaching across the table to squeeze my hand. Oh, I said, feeling a mix of disappointment and relief. I guess it was a silly thought. Not silly. Just shows you're loved by more people than you realize, he said warmly. The conversation shifted to other topics, but the mystery of the secret admirer lingered in my mind. It wasn't until a few days later that the truth finally came out. Lucy and I were at my place, having one of our movie nights, when she suddenly turned to me with a serious look on her face. Anna, there's something I've been meaning to tell you, Lucy began, pausing the movie. What's up? I asked, sensing the gravity in her tone. The gifts, the flowers, the brooch. It was me. I sent them, she blurted out, her eyes searching mine for a reaction. For a moment, I just stared at her, processing her words. You? But why? Lucy took a deep breath. After everything with Michael, I saw how much you were hurting. You deserve to feel special, loved. I thought, maybe if you thought someone was out there admiring you, it might help you see yourself the way I do. I was speechless. The gesture was so thoughtful, so like Lucy, yet I couldn't believe she had kept it a secret for so long. Lucy, I don't know what to say. That was incredibly sweet, but you didn't have to do that. I finally managed, my voice thick with emotion. I know I didn't have to. I wanted to. You're my best friend, Anna. I hate seeing you sad, she said, her own voice cracking. We hugged, a long, tight embrace that said everything words couldn't. When we pulled apart, I wiped away a tear. You're the best friend anyone could ever ask for, you know that? I said, smiling through my tears. From that point on, the shadow of my secret admirer faded away, replaced by the warmth of true friendship and the beginning of something real with Alex. Lucy's act of kindness had been the push I needed to start healing, to open up to the possibility of love again. And for that, I was eternally grateful. A year and a half of twists and turns, and just when I thought life had settled into a comfortable rhythm, the past decided to knock on my door. Literally. I was flipping through a magazine, ironically the one that featured me as Employee of the Year, when the doorbell rang. Standing there, with a look that mixed regret with desperation, was Michael, my ex-fiancé. Anna, wow. You look incredible, he stammered, his eyes scanning me up and down. I saw your picture in the magazine. Employee of the Year, huh? That's amazing. I raised an eyebrow, not sure whether to slam the door in his face or let him speak. Curiosity won. What do you want, Michael? He shuffled uncomfortably. I messed up, Anna. Big time. The model, well, it didn't work out. And I've been thinking a lot about us, about how I treated you. I'm sorry. Truly. I was hoping, maybe we could start over? The audacity of the man was almost laughable. Almost. Start over? I echoed, disbelief lacing my words. After everything you put me through? I know. It sounds crazy. But I've changed, Anna. I have. And seeing you now, so successful, so beautiful. It just made me realize what an idiot I was. His words, meant to flatter, fell flat. Michael, you didn't just break my heart. You left me in debt, remember? $20,000 worth of wedding expenses? He winced, as if hoping I'd forgotten. Right. The money. Look, I can pay you back. I will pay you back. Just give me a chance to make things right. The thought of getting my money back was tempting, not gonna lie. You return the money, and then we'll talk, I said, more to see if he'd actually do it than any real hope of reconciliation. To my surprise, he agreed. And true to his word, he paid back every cent. But when he came back, expecting open arms, I had a different plan. Here's your money, Anna. Every last dollar. So, what do you say? Can we try again? He asked, a hopeful look in his eyes. I took a deep breath, looking at the man I once thought I'd spend my life with. Michael, getting this money back. It's closure for me. But it doesn't erase what happened. You called me. What was it? Oh, right. Too fat. Ugly. And now you're here because your model girlfriend dumped you, and suddenly, I'm beautiful and charming? He opened his mouth to protest, but I raised a hand to stop him. No, Michael. I've moved on. I found someone who loves me for me. Not for how I look or what I achieve. And I realized I don't need someone who only sees my worth when I'm on the up. I don't need traitors. As he walked away, a weight lifted off my shoulders. I closed the door, turning back to the life I had rebuilt from the ashes he left behind. A life filled with love, respect, and genuine happiness. Alex came into the room, wrapping an arm around my waist. Everything okay? He asked, sensing the shift in the air. I leaned into him, a content smile spreading across my face. Everything's perfect. Let's not let the past take up any more of our present, okay? Okay. He agreed, kissing the top of my head. And just like that, the final chapter of my past closed, leaving me free to fully embrace the beautiful, unwritten future ahead.